Is it Jeanetta?
Yes, it's Jeanetta.
Jeanetta in Akron, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine.
Hi. I'm an atheist. I'm a black atheist. And recently, actually last year around December, I actually became an atheist, and it became kind of hard for me. I made a YouTube. I didn't really know who to talk to. I just wanted to know, what do you think about the shortage of black Americans being atheists? Why is it so hard?
Boy, wouldn't you know that better than us?
I mean, I don't know. I've tried to figure it out, but it just seems like white people are more open for some reason.
Huh. So maybe your question to us should be, why does it seem like it's so much easier for white people? But again, not really having your experience to compare mine to, I don't really know.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. We actually had some calls a month or two ago when we were still doing the show from my place, where we talked about why there don't seem to be as many black atheists. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. Maybe there's just as many when you consider relative population sizes, but there's not as many outspoken, which just changes the question as to why are there fewer outspoken. I don't know. I could guess about some things. I'd feel really bad. You're getting near dangerous territory of stereotyping. We've talked before about the kind of the possibility that all religion is some form of Stockholm syndrome, because it's always been absurd to me that the African American community would embrace the religion that enslaved them and took away their identities. And there's been a backlash about that on some fronts, and yet black Christian churches in America are some of the strongest, proudest, most vocal. And I think that it takes a long time to get past the mistakes. So the racist mistakes, the abusive mistakes, the civil rights mistakes that were made that we're gradually starting to correct. I can easily see a future where, not only is this not an issue, but it may be an issue the other direction. It's hard to guess at what the causes may be. I do know that at least among, I couldn't even say that. I was going to say that the black communities are tighter in some senses, and that may be true for some communities and not for others. I think it may be unfair to characterize it based on race or anything else. So I don't have a good answer. I'm as baffled as anybody else.
Hey, Jeanetta?
Uh-huh.
I thought I heard at when you started, we first started talking, that you hinted that there were some obstacles that you faced in becoming an atheist, or what has been your experience?
Pretty much, when I turned 18 June 2008, and yeah. I went to college. I started taking philosophy courses and stuff like that. And I just pretty much came to a realization. And then after the realization, I had to, figure out, should I tell my parents? How do I tell my parents?
Yeah, that's tough for us too.
Yeah, they eventually found out, but yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like it was much more hardcore, among the people that I talked to. But yeah, I understand what you guys are saying.
Yeah, well, yeah, my parents were at the time when they found out about me, both Christian ministers. So, it was difficult. And I know Matt's family are very religious. Are you familiar with some of the bigger names in atheism who happen to be African American, like Reginald Finley?
I'm not.
Reginald Finley has done a podcast for years. I know he's still doing some kind of show. You might want to look him up on the internet. And is Neil deGrasse Tyson an atheist?
He is, by my definition. Out of everything I've ever seen him say, I don't know if he identifies himself with that label or not.
Is he an astrophysicist? Is that his field? Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson is also prominent. So it could also be that, you know, it's not quite as bad as you think, and it might just take a little looking around.
The other thing is that, as somebody else pointed out, the ACA has had black members in the past and has some currently. We've been asked this with regard to other classifications as well. Why are there so few female outspoken atheists? You know, comparatively. I mean, we live in a population, at least in the United States, that's 51% or so, if it maybe higher, female. And yet, while our group was founded by a woman, Kathleen Johnson I talked about before, the Military Association of Atheists and Freethinkers, woman, founded that organization, and yet seemingly out on the forefront or the most outspoken or identifiable among atheists seem to be males. And if you run around YouTube, I may have seen one of your videos, but if you run around YouTube and look, what you're going to see is a lot of young white males talking about their atheism. By and large, there are increasing numbers of women involved, and there are increasing number of minorities, whether it be black, Hispanic, whatever, involved now. I think we're in this state of flux where it's really hard to measure anything, and we should just wait a while, let things play out, let people get a little bit more comfortable. As soon as more people are comfortable with saying, yeah, I don't believe, and I'm willing to say I don't believe, I think you kind of see the floodwaters in that direction, and you might find that there are a lot more atheists in a variety of communities where people wouldn't have suspected it, including working clergy members.
Yeah.
But.
All right. Well, thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling.